So we've got our Xterra wetsuit, the full-sleeved wetsuit. I ordered this because I did like the feel of the sleeveless wetsuit. I did want a full-sleeve wetsuit because full sleeve is obviously the best in terms of getting you through the water faster, less drag from your arms. But this is a brand new suit, the Xterra Vengeance. I did get size large. I do find that for wetsuits, I'm probably a bit on the larger side, even though I'm about 5'11" to 6 feet tall and about 165 to 170 pounds. This here is the large size. We'll go ahead and test this out, but this is what it looks like. I believe the silver parts are 1.5 millimeter thickness, and the rest of it is about 3 millimeter thickness, I believe, for the chest. I think maybe, just maybe, the leg portion is 3 to maybe 5 millimeters. I'm not entirely sure, but these are capri cut. They sit a bit higher on the legs. I'll have to try this on. Once you get a brand new wetsuit though, they do recommend to dunk it in water, store it in water, like let's say the bathtub for a bit. Let the water kind of seep into into the fabric, the material, just in case it's kind of been dried out. They also recommend that after you've kind of stored it for a while too. But yeah, I'm really hoping that this wetsuit will fit me and also that the arms won't feel constrictive or restrictive. I did have the Xterra Vector Pro in medium large, and I did feel like my arms were a bit restricted. So I ended up finding a used Xterra Vengeance sleeveless wetsuit, and I really liked it, but it had quite a bit of damage, especially on the leg portion. There were a lot of nail marks, and it was a bit easier to damage, so I wasn't a big fan of that part, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So time to go dunk this in the water to test it out. All right, let's go ahead and dunk this in the water. I added cold water in the bathtub. We're just gonna let that sit. We'll let that soak and get some water in there. Well, we might as well flip it over as well. All right, and we'll even dunk in our sleeveless. You can see that the sleeveless has had many, many tears. So I'm really hoping that this new one will be much better in terms of durability, but also I hope it fits. So let's go ahead and get some water in there as well, and we'll let it soak, and then we'll dry it and then try it on. Okay, so they're finally dry after being in the bathtub for a day, roughly a day, not really. But this is the sleeveless version. This is the full sleeve version, the brand new. I do tend to flip them inside out to dry, and that does seem to help them dry faster. But let's go ahead and put this full suit on to make sure it fits. I'm wearing last season's suit. As you can see, the Swiftofo custom tri-suit. I will be making a new one for the upcoming 2024 season, but I'm going to try on the wetsuit just as I would wearing my tri-suit. And here's a pro tip for you guys. If you're putting on a wetsuit, always carry around a plastic bag with you, because you can put your hand inside the plastic bag and it'll slip right through when you put on the wetsuit. Same goes for your feet, so we'll try that out. First things first, you put a plastic bag over your foot, like so, and then you're going to go ahead and slide it through the leg hole. And always remember, whenever you put on a wetsuit, always make sure to use the pads of your fingers, not your nails, or else you'll end up ripping your wetsuit. So you saw how easily that slid on. And this wetsuit is actually a capri length. So you can actually go ahead and pull that out now and slowly make your way up by pulling the wetsuit on. And I even go on the inside of the wetsuit and pull up as well. And slowly but surely start pulling this up. Now we'll go ahead and put the second leg in. It's a bit awkward because initially it will be pretty tight, but once you get that on, you can shimmy up the wetsuit. Jeez, this is tight. Oh, as you can see, there's a lot that has to pull up. Little by little, slowly. And you have to make sure that the crotch is all the way up, because that will ensure that the wetsuit is on properly. But holy crap, remember, pads of your fingers to make sure you don't damage the neoprene or the wetsuit. So as you can see, I'm slowly making my way up. One thing that I hate is that sometimes it rides up my tri-suit, and that's not the most comfortable, but little by little. See, I chose the large. This is a size large, yet it feels quite tight on my body. Pretty crazy. And you know, this is the very first time I'm wearing this wetsuit, so of course it will be pretty tight. But as you can see, little by little, I'm inching my way up. There's still about an inch to pull up the crotch, so let's get that going. You could kind of start bending and twisting. Just make sure the crotch is right up there. We're getting there. There's still a bit more to go. So you do want the crotch to be all the way up so that the wetsuit's not pulling down on your shoulders. And this is a real life view of how long it actually takes to properly put on a wetsuit. I'm going to bend a bit, let it kind of ride up and kind of unfold here and there. Okay, it's almost there. Yeah, this does seem a bit more durable than the last one that I had. The last one that I had it is a sleeveless version, but it's also, for some reason, intended to really not, the crotch is pretty much as high as I can go for now. I might be able to do a bit more just a bit later, but just gonna hike it up a bit, bend my knees. For this one, I'll also use the bag to help me put my arms through. Now, this is definitely a much thinner suit, the top portion, so I have to be very careful with this. But I do find that the full suits, the arms, I do have a bit of a thicker forearms, and that seemed to cause issues in my former suits, and I just feel way too tight. So I'm really hoping that this one feels better. Suits will also loosen once you go in the water, so once you let some water in, that does tend to help. Okay, I probably shouldn't have put the bag on my arm though. It's way too tight. Holy crap. Yeah, normally I don't put the bag on my arm for the wetsuits, but more so because I freaking Popeye forearms from all those pull-ups that I do. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I don't feel shoulder restriction, but I feel forearm restriction. It's all those damn pull-ups that I do. We'll see. This already right now, it feels quite tight on my forearms, and I thought with the 1.5 millimeter thickness top or arms, it will be better, but it does seem like this is pretty damn tight. So, goodness. Maybe it's time to get skinnier. But this is a size large. I'm about 5'11", almost 6 feet, and I'm about 165 to 170 pounds. Man, this is what they don't show you on YouTube. This is how long it actually takes to put on a wetsuit. It's probably a boring video for you guys, but just showing you what it's like to actually put on a wetsuit. So if you are going to do a triathlon, make sure you have adequate time to put on your tri-suit, because this takes a long time and you really don't want to mess up your wetsuit. You don't want to ruin it, so take your time, put on the wetsuit properly, make sure it's pulled up fully, and see, there should not be this pocket here. So it's got to come all the way down. This part of the armpit should be right up against my armpit. I like to blow air sometimes to add some room. It does seem to help. Oh, jeez. But yeah. Oh, jeez. Almost broke our piano. Uh-oh. I can't find the zipper. Oh. So, I don't know if you can see, but it was shoved all the way up in my butt. So, take care not to get it caught on anything. Sometimes at tri events too, at races, you'll have someone to help you put this on and off, or take this, put it on. So that might help, but I just want to make sure I'm not oh, damn. That's on. Hoo-wee. Okay, now, time to keep, oh, that's actually almost pretty good. So I just need to add some more, pull it more to the shoulder. That way there's adequate shoulder mobility. Oh man, wetsuits are freaking a pain, but they really do help you in the water. So there's still a bit of space, so I have to keep pulling, making sure that, because you want it to be as loose as possible. Luckily this one is 1.5 millimeter thickness. Oh man, I mean, I do feel the tightness in my forearms, but I'll probably have to try it out in water, get some water in here. But this is a size large. I am not that big, as you can see, yet I have to wear a size large. I do have a bit more of a larger chest, narrower shoulders, but it's all those workout gains. But yeah, we'll see. I'll have to try this at the pool sometime. It's not going to be too fun putting this on in the change room, but I think this is what it's going to look like. So we'll see. This feels the least restrictive on my arms that I've ever felt for a wetsuit. And I think it is because it's the 1.5 millimeter thickness arms and the silver part. We'll have to see how it fares in the water. I'll probably test it out in the pool sometime soon. I know you're not supposed to use wetsuits really in the water, in the pools, but I tend to rinse them quite well after using them. But I do want to test the fit, so yeah, we're gonna try it out. I haven't swam in a while either, so it might be a bit finicky, but this is probably one of the most comfortable feelings I've had in a wetsuit aside from a sleeveless. So let's hope that this one works out. Let's hope that this one also lasts a long time. So there you have it, folks, the Xterra Vengeance wetsuit. Now I'll just go ahead and take this off. Taking it off is usually much easier especially if you've just come out of the water. I find that there's a layer of water on the skin between the wetsuit and the skin, and it tends to ensure an easier removal of the wetsuit. Once again, being very careful with the wetsuit and not tugging or pulling too hard, and also ensuring you're not using your nails either. But yeah, the cuffs at the wrists are pretty tight for this one. I might have to just wear it in a bit, or we'll see. Once again, way easier if you just came out of the water. All right, second arm, pull that right through. But once again, it's super tight because, as I mentioned, there's a lot of friction between your skin and the wetsuit. But if you have the water layer in between, then it won't be as bad. Oh. All right, and it's off way quicker. Another tip about putting on a wetsuit: if you're sweaty, you will not get your wetsuit on, or if you will, it'll take a really long time to put it on, and it'll be really difficult. So make sure you put a wetsuit on when you're nice and dry. My comment so far is that the 1.5 millimeter thickness of the silver portion, the top portion, it's definitely thinner, and it's thinner in the right areas for me personally. I do find that the forearms are slightly still kind of tight, and I think it's mostly because of this extra added forearm panel. I'm not sure, maybe it's supposed to help with your pull portion, but I do find that the thinner portion on the top does suit my body way better. And so if you're slightly on the larger side on the upper body, or more muscular, I might recommend this for you if you've gone to a sleeveless, and this might be your best option. You know, I haven't tried any of the super high-end wetsuits like Roka, Blue 70. I'm hoping that this one lasts and that it does well. I've got 4 races coming up this year, so we'll see how it fares. In the pool, it felt pretty damn good compared to the other ones that I've tested. And yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to testing this out in the open water and as well racing with it. I did buy this with my own money, and I'm not endorsed, but really looking forward to putting this to the test. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what wetsuit you're using. I hope you have a wonderful season this year for 2024, and have a good one.